Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Legends of Tomorrow Season 7 review series. And today I am going to be talking about Episode 3, Wave Rider Error 100 Not Found, which I have just finished watching. And this episode is an important one for historic reasons, mainly because this marks the 100th episode of the show, and in my opinion, I thought this was the best episode that I've seen from Legends of Tomorrow in quite some time. This was a really good, fun trip down memory lane, and there wasn't really a main villain as such. I mean, there kind of was a threat involved, but this was just a good, fun trip down memory lane and a cool reminder of why Legends of Tomorrow was and could still be a fantastic show. And it's quite interesting to see how much the show has changed from season 1 all the way to currently season 7. And we saw lots of familiar faces make their return in cameo roles. We saw Wentworth Miller reprise his role as Leonard Snart, who's always a pleasure to see him, and he was fantastic as always. We saw Vic Garber reprise his role as Martin Stein, always great to see him. So we saw lots of familiar faces make their return. We saw Jack's return. We saw Rip Hunter. Didn't see Mick Rory, which I was a little bit bummed out about, but didn't see Hawkgirl return either. But great to see Ray Palmer. Love Brandon Routh to death. Great to see him back. We saw Nora Dark. Great to see her as well. You know, as I said, we saw lots of familiar faces return. And, you know, when Legends of Tomorrow started back in 2016, wow, it's a long time ago. It's amazing how much the show has changed because when Legends of Tomorrow started, it was more of a time traveling, very heavy superhero driven show with lots of lesser known heroes and villains assembled from the DC universe slash Arrowverse. And in my opinion, I still go on record to say that seasons 1 to 3 were the show's best seasons, in my opinion. And we were treated to lots of fun moments, some sad moments. Obviously, seeing Martin Stein, you know, I really got choked up a lot, and they showed his now iconic death scene from Crisis on Earth X. You know, I got very, very sad because that one really still hits home a lot because the interesting thing about Martin Stein when he got killed off in season 3 of Legends of Tomorrow, he's never come back. Obviously, he's never come back as a different version from another Earth or even from the post crisis. He's just stayed dead. So to see him back, even just for a couple of scenes, it was so good to see him back. And basically, in this episode, Gideon is in a human form and she shuts down, and Astra and Spooner go inside Gideon's head to try and fix her. And we learn that a virus taking on the form of Gideon is corrupting her and wiping out all of her memories. And basically, as I said, this was just a trip down memory lane from the first time the Legends was formed to how much they bonded as a family. You know, there's just so much going on in this episode. And as I said, this was probably the best episode from Legends of Tomorrow in quite some time, and certainly in recent seasons, because, you know, as I said before, even though the show has its ups and downs, they can always surprise you with occasional good episodes. And this one, I think, was probably the best one, in my opinion. And, you know, as I said, it was just so good to see everybody back. Even if this might be the only time we see all of these guys return. And it was just a real blast. And I really enjoyed this one a lot. And basically, in this episode, we learn more of how important Gideon is, not just to the Wave Rider, but to the Legends as a team, or more importantly, as a family. And it's interesting to see how much Sarah Lance has changed. You know, she went from being a badass assassin to now just being an all-round loved-up goofball with Ava, which isn't a bad thing. And she's also gone from being, as I said, an assassin to a captain now of the ship. So it's very interesting to see how much everybody's changed. And like I said, just seeing everybody brought back some good memories of how much Legends of Tomorrow has not only changed, but what a show it was and still can be. So, as we saw at the end, Bishop has returned and he's basically reprogrammed Gideon's computer systems, and now she's under his control. So it's going to be very interesting to see Gideon as a main villain, ready to take out the legends under Bishop's orders. So that should make for an interesting few episodes. But I think the highlight of this episode for me was Gideon walking down the corridor and you see all of the legends: Sarah, Zari, Birad, Spooner, Astra. Didn't see Constantine though, but would have liked to have seen Constantine there. Nora, Nate, Ava, Snart, Hawkman, Jax, Gary, Stein. You know, just basically everybody who's ever been in Legends of Tomorrow. Although there were a couple of guys that were missing, but by and large, you pretty much had virtually a full house, and that to me was the real highlights of the show, or especially in this episode for that matter. And I think this is something I would like to see if Legends of Tomorrow does wrap up for good. This is definitely something I'd like to see him revisit or do something very similar to this because, you know, no matter what you might think of Legends of Tomorrow, can the show be better? Of course it can. But occasionally they can surprise you and show you that they can be good when on their top of their game. So this episode was just more of like a retrospective of all of the seasons from the beginning all the way up to now. And as I said, this was a great episode and probably the best one I've seen in quite some time. So now that Bishop has reprogrammed Gideon, we'll just have to wait and see, really. But I think the real hero of this episode, or specifically the 100th episode, was definitely Gideon, without a doubt. So this was definitely a lot of fun. And if we had more episodes like this, I probably would start caring about the show more. But we'll just have to wait and see, really. So that's going to be it from me. I am going to wrap this up now. What did you think of episode 3 of Legends of Tomorrow? Did you enjoy it? How did you feel about the show reaching its 100th milestone? Are you impressed with that? And also, what was your thoughts on seeing all of the originals back? Were you were you excited to see them? And also, what was your favourite moment of this episode that they revisited? And also, now that Gideon is under Bishop's control, what plans do you think he has for the legends? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below. And I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Legends of Tomorrow Season 7 review series, where I am going to be talking about episode 4, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it's going to play out, especially with the way this one ended. So hopefully, should be a good one. So until next time, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And before I go, I just want to say many congratulations to Legends of Tomorrow for reaching its 100th episode. And who knows, maybe we might see them reach 200th. But we'll see, really. So until next time, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, thanks for listening.